Hello, hello, hello. Let me know if that let me know how that audio is sounding. Hello folks. Can y'all hear me all right? I don't know how this is looking or sounding. We got NC in the house. We got Michigan in the house. I hope your surgery went well. It seems like it did if you're just hanging out watching YouTube, so best of luck. Hope you heal up quick. Oh no, you have to go. I know, I normally don't stream this late. And I was like, oh, all my like European folks, all my across the sea friends are gonna be hurting. Everyone's trying to go to sleep. But maybe now I'll get some of the West Coast in here. We got Southern Cali in there. I'll get more of my American folks in. Just kind of hanging out for a moment. Man, my internet is not loving me, so we'll see how this goes. East Coast. That's right, everyone's getting off work. This is like the perfect time. Sounds good, looks good, but the frame looks off. Yeah, so I don't know what it is. It's always like, it's like choppy like that. I don't know why. I haven't been able to figure it out. We got North Cal, we got Cal, we got West Coast, South Africa in the house. All right, let me go ahead and get in on this though. So basically, I have been outsourcing a lot of my weddings because to be able to keep up with making YouTube videos and also editing weddings outside of streaming it here and hanging out with you all, I have to outsource a lot of my weddings because it's just too much. Hey, we got Mark Swan in the house. Yeah, I don't know why the it's on face. It shouldn't like, I don't know why it scared the autofocus like that. But yeah, so I just got this wedding back. Yo, what happened to my chat? Oh, it's still there. I got this wedding back and now I'm just going through it and making sure everything looks up to par and everything. So I do my outsourcing with the Image Salon and they're actually really awesome. They take the time to really try and learn your preset and how you like to edit and things, which is really cool. They actually give you a single editor as well, so you get like a specific person just for you. But I don't know what happened last time. I tried to tell her like, oh hey, you know, this is how I like certain things and whatever, and she just went too far with it. So I had to give her feedback and be like, hey, yeah, you kind of, I don't know what you did. So luckily there's not too much for me to fix. It's just a bunch of, it's just some white balance issues and stuff. And half the time I have to go through the photos anyway because I don't pay for them to straighten the photos or to make black and whites or anything. So I still have to do that myself. If y'all don't know about the Image Salon, y'all can check them out here. Was it Genevieve? No, I don't believe so actually. Yeah, she got back with 2 weddings and I was like, oh no. I was like, what happened? Everything was like too warm, but I edit kind of weird. Like I'm kind of heavy on the my internet. I'm heavy on the magenta and I like my photos a little bit cooler than most people would, so I don't blame her. How about your presets? When will they be available for Capture One? I'm hoping soon. That has been the big question. Like everyone keeps asking me about it. These are actually not so bad. Did I miss a focus on all of those? Yeah, like this is a little too warm. Yeah, I'm really hoping to get Capture One very soon. So I can hit y'all off with the holidays with some new Capture One natural feels. Maybe have some discounts all around for everybody. Trucks in the background. Yeah, this the groom was a trucker. Him and the bride, they actually met and then they went trucking around the United States. So him and all his trucker buddies came through for his wedding. Actually, yeah, these don't look so bad. They're not so bad. They're better. The last one was pretty bad. But on the same end, I gave her, like, it was pretty hard. Like, the lighting was rough and the coloring was rough, so. Oh man, John Branch live. Oh hey, it's Bad Habit. What's up? I bought Capture One for Fuji. Totally worth it. He's a real life ambassador. Yeah. I can't believe I'm an ex-photographer, like, in all real, like, seriousness. Even when I signed up for it, it was just like, oh man. Like, I don't know if I'll actually get this or not. So yeah, that's cool. That was my big win of the last, like, couple weeks. I need to make a video about it. But yeah, the biggest part of outsourcing is it lets you do multiple things. So like, I don't mind getting my photos back and they're not like 100% where I want them, because either way I was able to like work on videos while they edited my stuff. So it's like two people doing one thing. It just makes so much more sense. And either way, again, I have to go through and straighten and maybe black and white some photos anyway, so I'm not that hurt, but I'm gonna let them know and be like, hey, you know, that edit wasn't the greatest. Would be great to have Capture One, would be highly appreciated. Yeah, I'm definitely trying to. It's been hard for me because I don't know Capture One like that. And then I really want to make sure that the feeling is right, because that's the main, it's natural feels, yeah. But it has to feel right, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's been my biggest like gripe while I'm trying to get it together for you all, is making sure it feels right. How's life as a Fuji ambassador? I mean, it's cool. I technically, you know, I was already pretty much in there, because, you know, they have a 3-tier system now, and you have to go through the 3-tier system before you can become an ex-photographer. So like, an ex-photographer is the top. It's like you've made it now to the top of Fujifilm as far as being an ambassador. So yeah, it's cool. I'm excited. How do you sign up to be an ex-photographer? So yeah, there's a longer process that they have now because it's 3 tiers. Thank you for that sub. But basically what happens is, first you have to start out as a collaborator, and then that way they can kind of, you know, work with you and make sure you're good to work with and you understand what it's like working with a bigger brand and things like that. After you are a collaborator, you can move up to being a creator. That's what I was before. And then after a creator, and only creators can apply for being an ex-photographer. So they really want you to like at least be in there with them. Oh man, when you got stuff on your sensor or on the lens, da-na-na, the worst. Lightroom, come on, bro. Like, really? I think Adobe makes Lightroom purposefully, like, bad with healing and stuff, just so you'll have to use Photoshop. Have you ever tried shooting video at a wedding? I have not yet, but I'm getting close to wanting to try. I just bought a small rig for my X-T4, because remember, my X-T4 is my like video. It's my video camera. Thank you for the sub. So yeah, so I just got a small rig for my XT4, just a nice little bracket. So I got the HDMI clip because micro HDMI is the absolute worst. And yeah, that's it. So with this and my gimbal and stuff, and I have a couple other cameras, I think I can do a wedding. I need a little bit more audio, but for the most part, this is good to go. Got an Atomos. I mean, I don't. The dude Mark Swan in the chat, he would know. He's a amazing wedding video. But yeah, there was a guy recently looking for a second photographer or a second videographer. And I really wanted to try that out because I'm comfortable enough with video that I feel like I could definitely be a second. A main, I'm not sure, but we'll see. I actually shot some video at one of the last weddings I did. Nothing crazy, but I hybrid shot, so I'm clipping a little something together for them. Recently bought my first Fujifilm, got an XT4 and a 56. Nice. Yeah, that's a good combo. That is a great combo. These hand holding pictures I always love in black and white. That's like my go-to. So yeah, like this one for me is a little bit too warm. Is it better to adjust the exposure in black and white and then adjust the color? I don't believe so. I don't think it really makes too big of a difference. Here obviously is a Brenizer, and I need to, hold on, let's see if we can 16:9 this. Yeah, that should work. This is the downside to Brenizer sometimes. They get that like fisheye look to them. Sometimes I don't mind it, but I'm not a fan. %, when you heal on Photoshop, you just choose the size and click over it. Yeah, Lightroom is like, it'll do things sometimes. Also, I don't know if it's a bug. Actually, let me see if they fixed it. One thing I used to hate in Lightroom is if I try to heal on an edge like this, it like, oh, come on, bro. Oh no, I think they fixed it. It would like make a black spot or something, and it would just be like the worst. Yeah, I think they fixed it. They fixed it. It was like you literally, if it went over the edge, Lightroom had no idea what was happening. Yo, iTunes. Oh, it's playing. It's my headphones that aren't. Is it playing? Hold on, y'all. Let me, wow. Let's change this up real quick. Since my iTunes wants to just randomly give out on me, but OBS says there's still music. Oh, iTunes sounds like it crashed. Yeah, that's. I'm like looking at it like, bruh, iTunes, what happened to you? Uh-oh, are y'all getting like weird sounds? Okay. Streaming, technical stream. Oh no. Music remix. Okay, it didn't crash. Cool. I thought we lost it. Anyways, we got Russia in the house. Hello. This is basically the same. Yeah, this is much better than the last. outsourced stuff I got. Yo, what's wrong with iTunes? Wow. I think it might be the internet. But this stuff should be local. It's not playing nothing. Oh well, no music for now. Hopefully it'll decide to come back. Sounds like when a CD would skip back in the day. How long have I been doing photography? Professionally, it's been 7 years now. Photography in itself, I've been doing for a little bit. I actually used to just dabble. I wasn't really... I'm getting no audio right now at all. Like, this thing is... Well, yeah, this thing is hating. But yeah, I really thought photography was cool. But I like... I didn't really take it seriously. I was just like, wow, so cool. So if you count that time, it's really only been like maybe 10 years. I didn't really go to school for it. I'm not like a master of photography or anything. I spent most of my time actually more so into music and music production. That's what I went to school for. I worked in audio engineering for like a good 3 years. I did it for a while actually. So music and audio is my bread and butter, which is why I'm over here having issues with the fact that my music is not playing. Thank you for them subs. Let's try this one more time. So here we are. Here's iTunes. Okay, it's playing, so I can hear it. Y'all can't hear it. And I switch. And it stops. Just picked up the X Pro 3. Had to give into the hidden screens. Nice. Outsourced. I mean, I may be looking for video editors coming up soon too. Keeping up with YouTube and wedding photography and 3 kids. It's a lot. It is a lot. Yep, this thing hates me. For whatever reason. So I'm just going to turn it back so that I can hear it. Because I like my musics. Music production is so much fun. It really is, though. I'm thinking about starting to make more music again. It's been a while, but... Wow, can you make industrial level mastering? I did take a mastering class. It's been so long, though. I don't even know if I, remember. It's black and white that, because they're basically doubles. I lost my keys at this wedding. They, fell out of my pocket or something. And it was just kind of like, oh, well. I'll take this one out. I'm so sad y'all can't hear the music no more. It really hurts me. Oh, maybe I can hear. Hold on. Okay. The moment of truth. Yeah, I don't know why it doesn't like that. Yeah, Soundflower. For some reason, it doesn't like Soundflower. I wonder if I can make it come out of the Yeti and then use the Yeti. Oh, the Yeti's not even an option. What? What does default mean, defaults? I'm over here about to crash OBS. I should just stop messing with it. X100V versus X Pro 3. I haven't used all of Fuji's cameras enough to really give my opinion on too many of them. Like the X100V or the X100F or those series, I haven't really used those. The X Pros I have not used. I have a hard time with the rangefinder. Like I don't know. I don't like the rangefinder viewfinder. And mainly just because I've never really shot on one before, so there's no actual reason. It's just a weird, stupid bias. John, are you a Holdfast ambassador? Why there is no stock almost always in there. So Holdfast, from my understanding, because I am an ambassador, but their ambassador system is very new. They just started it. So from my understanding, which I really don't have an inside look on that. They're still a small company. You know, like Matt, the owner, does his best to keep up with stuff, but I think that's what it is. They're just a smaller company still. They seem like they're huge, you know what I mean? Like the way they're pumping out stuff, and they just seem like a big company, but I'm pretty sure it's because they're still like a small mom and pop shop, basically. So, because yeah, that's the hardest part. There's stuff is out of stock like all the time. I'm so sad about the music, y'all. Like for serious. Apple Music beta? I didn't even think about that. I guess it would connect to my stuff still too. What's your minimum range to take pictures with a 23 f2? Been struggling with quality. Do you shoot wide open? So yeah, all the f2 lenses I tend to shoot wide open. Like always. I rarely stop them down. It's only like the 56, 1.2 and all of those lenses, those are the ones that I'll stop down. Yeah, these are decent. That last gallery, I don't know what happened. My browser won't work. Nothing's working right now. Everybody hates me. Oh, there it goes again. I wonder, let's see if Safari likes it, but I can't even get on website. What is the deal? What is the deal? Oh, now it wants to go. Okay. Chrome was like, hold on. Don't open Safari. I can do it. Oh, it doesn't have on my playlist, though. Yeah, I can't use that. Unless I can get to my playlist, I can't. Because this playlist is safe for YouTube. Post processes the photos for 2 years and wanted to buy a camera, but I checked the XT3's sample raws and their pic quality didn't satisfy. I wonder what they were like viewing it through, because yeah, this is not happening. Fuji raws are touchy, and sometimes people just don't like treat them right. They really don't. Whole Fest has a high demand. Why they don't invest in more people? Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. They're like small and the demand is really high. But yeah, I have no insider information on that at all. I wish I did. I just know I love the products. And I stand by the products. Matt's a cool dude too. I've met him in person. Yeah, most of this stuff looks good. What kind of work do you do that you didn't like the Fuji? So okay. Your work is so inspiring. Thank you so much. When editing photos, do you try to stay natural? I do. The colors are definitely a little different, but for the most part, I try to stay as natural as possible. The greens are definitely like crushed down, and you know, there's not much. There's no saturation in the greens whatsoever. But I don't like green. I like magenta. Because I think you can see it before and after. Yeah. Like, I'm not changing it that much. Like, it's pretty true to color, which is why I call my preset natural feels. Because it's very natural. Just, it looks the way it looks, and that's what it is. And I think this is about good to... Yeah, I think I can... Okay, we're going to attempt it. So, if y'all lose me, just know my computer couldn't handle it. We're going to export photos while I'm on stream. So just everyone cross your fingers and be prepared for this moment. If you could, what would you tell Adobe to add to Lightroom CC? They need more performance. Performance. Lightroom needs to be, I'm pretty sure it's not a multi-core program. So you have all these photographers, right? And like, especially like me, I build my own computer. I get these beastie machines and put like 8 core processors in it and stuff. And then Lightroom's over here like single core. And you're like, bro, man, come on. Yeah, the performance is the main thing. I think Lightroom overall, it's great. There's probably areas that could be fixed and stuff, but overall, I really like Lightroom. But the performance, it makes no sense. You can like make a beastie machine and Lightroom still drags, and you're just like, bro, Hackintosh. That's what I'm on right now. This is a hack. Export. Here goes my export settings. Everyone, listen, watch. So we're going to, first I gotta find where I have it. So I have a whole filing system of how I do my weddings and stuff to make sure that I know where everything is. So my flex drive is the drive I use between both PC and Mac. It's the drive that gets backed up by Backblaze, and it has all my JPEGs on it. Uh-oh. Okay. I thought I lost everything. So photo export, so those are all so these are just the JPEGs. I keep the RAWs somewhere else because JPEGs you can make very small. I separate it by year. I separate it by type of session, so weddings. And then I separate it by the couple. This is Sarah and Patrick. So that's where I'm going to export it. I put it into its own folder. So that was the ceremony, which I highlight too much. So let's go back. Let's take out these because these are couple portrait photos. And we don't want to mix those up. All right. So we export. Put it in a subfolder called ceremony. JPEG 100%. No resizing. Resolution is 300 because that's good and ready for print. Screen sharpening low because, again, I don't sharpen in Lightroom. I do it in exposure. So I'm just putting a tiny bit of screen sharpening on it, and then I'm going to sharpen it some more in exposure. And that's why post-processing, after it exports the JPEGs, it goes into exposure, and then I sharpen at the JPEG stage. And export, and let's see if my computer dies. Lightroom uses up to 4 cores and doesn't really take advantage of hyper-threading. Oh, see, man, like, it's just, like, useless. Screen cap the settings. Get them quick! Is the iPad Pro 2020 good for stuff like Premiere Pro? I don't think Premiere is on there, but it definitely, what's that program they have on iPads? LumaFusion it's surprising. I got my iPad right here. I don't know if y'all can see it in the frame, but my iPad always surprises me. I don't have a 2020. This is still the 2018, but they're good. I'm waiting for whatever they do next. Hey, John, I tried your flat lays at a wedding on Saturday and worked out perfectly. I even stopped down to 3.2 and everything. Yeah. Great job. Do you still have Nikon glass? Fringer adapter for Nikon, Fuji? I do have Nikon glass. It's old. It's for my film cameras and stuff, but I do have some. Do you think becoming a photographer nowadays is a good idea? I don't think it's bad. There's just a lot that goes along with it, but it's a great way to make income. Working for yourself is always nice. And yeah, you just have to really understand the game. The biggest thing, don't ever let something like, oh, you know, everyone does it, I'm just another person. Cause like, I thought that about YouTube, and I'm only like 2 years in and I'm at 50K subs. Now that doesn't happen with everyone, obviously, but I could have easily been like, oh, there's mad photographers on YouTube. I mean, come on, you got Peter McKinnon now, who just came out the gate swinging, just changed the whole game for YouTube photographers. You know what I mean? I could have easily just been like, there's no point in me even getting into this. But so it's the same thing with like, oh, does it make sense to be in photography in 2020? It's a very different landscape, obviously, and you have to really navigate it very differently. But I don't think it's bad. I think it's still nice. And capturing moments, regardless of it's like landscape or street photography or someone's life events, like, you know, getting married or having kids, that stuff matters. People will always like and want to take pictures. Thank you for that sub. The question is if they'll pay and how much they'll pay, but there's always someone who understands the importance and wants quality as well. So why don't I stream on Twitch? I used to. I feel like there's not really a landscape for photographers and editing. There are people who do it like, what's that dude's name? Is it Five Ho? I used to follow him, and he does a lot of editing and post-processing and stuff on Twitch. But like, I don't know. I feel like you got to give so much to Twitch to even be able to stream and be noticed. Like here on YouTube, I can make videos and people can notice me from my videos. And then when I stream, it's like, oh yeah, it's that guy who I watched this video. How cool. Like, it's just quicker for people to get in. Twitch, I felt like you're just streaming forever. I game a lot. So I would honestly love to get into Twitch streaming for gaming. But again, if I can't make it lucrative, and I'm talking like, I'm not even trying to get rich. Like, if I can't make like $100 at some point on Twitch gaming, then I can't do it. Because again, I have 3 kids. I have, you know, the YouTube channel. I have photography, business. You know, like I'm actually running it. I do real weddings. So I just can't find the time. Christina in the house. Hello, welcome. You were one of the first people I subscribed to on YouTube. Thank you so much. Okay, here we go. So it exported. So this is now exposure. And like I said, again, now these are JPEGs, and I'm going to sharpen the JPEGs. So I have specific sharpening presets for exposure. I'm actually thinking about selling these as well. And again, keep in mind, the presets I sell, one thing for me at least, the stuff I sell is what I use. You know, like the natural fills that you all are buying is only like 2% different than what I'm actually doing. The colors and the tones and all that are literally what I use. I don't think I'm ever going to make a different preset pack. I thought about it, but I don't know. If I don't actually use it, then I can't. So I thought about also selling these sharpening and grain presets that I've made as well, if anyone wants to jump into exposure. But so here are all the photos, and what I usually do is I'll just highlight the whole thing and put my sharpening and grain preset on it. Now I have a different preset for my black and white. So after that, I go through and select only the black and whites and then put my black and white grain and sharpening. I love your presets. Greetings from Oregon. Thank you so much. Is your iPad Pro good for gaming? How much FPS does it get? I don't know, but I don't know if any of y'all playing Genshin Impact, but it actually is kind of impressive playing Genshin on the iPad. I just wish they had controller support, and I'm so mad that they don't, because the iPad supports controllers, but Genshin doesn't have controller support on the iPad version. It's like, it's literally just the iPhone version. It's annoying. Cool, so now that I've done that, then I can go back and I hit save. And now this is like the second step of exporting. I'm low-key mad YouTube didn't notify me you were live. Have you ever been working and actually noticed your Fujis were not full frame? I'm debating between X-T4 and Nikon. I mean, no, I haven't shot a full frame camera now in like 4 years. And I just really, I don't miss it. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing, I'm not over here like, oh no, full frame. Like, I don't know. It is a learning curve, and you have to get used to like the range you have and what lighting works as. I think, and again, no offense to anybody, but a lot of photographers nowadays, because that's everybody, I'm including myself, we lean so hard on our cameras that we forget to actually do the work as a photographer. And I feel like full frame leads to that as well. So everyone's always like, oh, low light performance, how's low light, how's this, how's that? Whereas my thinking is like, try to understand light and understand how your camera sees light and how your camera can work with light and what you can do as the photographer to move your subjects into the light that you need that works for your camera. Because again, a lot of the like old school famous photographers, they just had film cameras. You know what I mean? Like, that's just what it was, and you had to do what the camera could. So it's the same, yeah, Walker Morrison talking about that's why I shoot film. It's the same, yeah. Like, you have to know what you're doing and make the camera do it. Rather than nowadays, I feel like the camera does things and people just go, okay, I kind of know what, like, they don't totally know what they're doing. And again, that's no offense to anyone, because everyone starts somewhere. We're all learning. I'm not the best photographer in the world either. But yeah, that's my biggest thing. So with the whole full frame versus crop sensor, it's really just like what you prefer, because there's nothing wrong with preferring something. And then also just making sure you as a photographer are taking the time to understand what you're doing. Rather than just leaning on your camera to do it for you and be like, oh, I can't get good low light photos, it must be the camera, and switch. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not the way to go about it. I feel cropped is better for wedding photography, as you don't have to get as close to the subject. That helps. Also, I think a big advantage of crop with wedding is that your stuff is sharper. Again, like, I shoot with the Fujifilm f2 lenses, and it's cropped, so that's almost like f4. Like, I barely ever have to stop down. Everything is always sharp. Whereas if I'm shooting full frame with like a 1.4, 1.8, at 1.4, you're going to miss a lot of shots. Like, to get that focus at 1.4 all the time is like pointless. So then you're immediately stopping down, and at that point it's like, okay, it lets in more light, but is it better to buy better camera body or better lenses? Better lenses, definitely. Because again, the body is just the tool. And half the time, all the bodies are doing the same thing. Some bodies are just better at it because technology got better. But at the end of the day, you know, it's a sensor or a strip of film. It's a shutter that opens the light in and close it. And that's it. You know, like, maybe it can focus better in autofocus and continuous focus. But other than that, maybe the shutter is faster, but it's a camera. So yeah, your lenses are going to be way more of a better deal for you to get. This thing is taking forever. My computer's like, okay, I'm trying so hard. Okay, let's go through and check some more of these photos. A lot of this stuff actually looked pretty decent. It was some of this stuff later that was kind of looking questionable. It's all in the mind of who's shooting. Exactly. And again, you know, don't knock anyone. That's why I hate the like full frame crop sensor wars. It's just like, you know, do what you need. Take your photos. Make them good. Do good work. Because half the time too, if someone sat you down with some photos, just a bunch of random photos, and were like, tell me if it's crop sensor or full, like there's no way you'd be able to tell. So again, it's just another one of those things that people just like turn into such a thing. And usually it's photographers just turning it into a thing themselves. Like, full frame, crop sensor. Okay. I want the XT3 and I'm almost there. Cool. Looking to switch from Canon to Fuji. If you could choose, would you choose to buy 2 XT2s or 3? Cars and motorsport. I heard the new autofocus on the 3. Yeah, definitely get the 3, especially with the new firmware update, which I have not updated mine yet. But what I'm seeing and hearing about the XT3's new autofocus, you're definitely going to want to. And the autofocus was already better than the XT2 anyway. The XT2, I don't know. I had issues with the XT2. Now, I love that camera, and it was my introduction into Fujifilm. But it definitely struggled sometimes with some of the autofocus. So definitely get a 3, especially with the new firmware update. Missed the focus on that one. I recently told myself I've taken my best portraits since I got my X Pro. Oh, cool. But I know it's mainly because of how much time I'm learning in full frame, learning on full frame and the fundamentals. Yeah, exactly. Only 15? Yeah, save your money. Save your money and grab an XT3. What PC are you using, and do you recommend the Sony A6400 for photography? I'm not familiar enough with Sony cameras. I've never physically used one, so I can't give too many recommendations there. My PC is a custom made. I have a Intel i9 9900K overclocked just a tiny bit. And I have, my graphics card is a Radeon 7. This is also a Hackintosh. Thank you for that sub. So that's why right now you see me I'm on Mac OS. But obviously it's a custom made PC. Like it's not a Mac. Hacking is really cool. I'm pretty into it now at this point, so. The firmware update in the XT3 is, yeah. I haven't had a chance to update mine yet. And when I was going to, I was at a wedding. Like, I was the day before a wedding or something. I was like, I'm not about to update these like the day before a wedding. Thank you for the sub. So yeah, I've talked about it before, but I'm gonna ask you all again here, right here in the chat. But I'm thinking about switching my Patreon and moving it to the YouTube, like, join button or whatever that is, where I'll have different tiers here on YouTube. So when I do live chats, I can do like private live chats, or when I do a stream, it'll be like a private stream where only people signed up can chat and things like that. I'm thinking about moving over to that instead of Patreon. But we'll see how things go. But if y'all have any opinions on that, I would love to hear it. Yo, what's happening on Slack? My Slack blowed up. B&H got holiday specials. I was thinking about building a Hackintosh. How difficult is it? From 1 to 10, it's hard because I don't know your level of computer building. But I would say, I don't know, like a 5 or a 4. It's really not that hard. If you can build a PC, you're already halfway to being able to do a Hackintosh. Because it's really just about knowing what parts you need to buy. And that's probably the hardest part if you're not good at researching, which I know sometimes that can be hard for people because, you know, you go online, you're like, okay, I need to buy a processor, and there's like 50 different processors, and you're like, which one's better? Which one should I use? It's like a lot. Yeah, some of these photos are way too warm. Do you use any sort of flash for those outside pictures? No, I don't generally. Not outside. Now, obviously, if I have my subject backlit and I want to fill them in some, I should do that. I generally don't. The main reason I don't really use flashes is just because it's so cumbersome to like bring a whole flash system and someone has to carry. It's just a lot, and a stand and a, you know, your off camera triggers and da da da. It's just so much. So most of the time, what you're seeing here is all natural. All natural light, which is why the background is totally blown out. And, you know, I know sometimes people don't have a preference for that. So again, to each their own. Because, yeah, I don't like the look of flash. I just don't like the look of off-camera flash. Flash in general. It just, like, it looks so fake. I'm not a fan. Do you use X webcam for live stream? The cam view using? I don't. I'm using a Elgato Cam Link, but I am thinking about setting up some more scenes in OBS where I can use my other cameras and then use the X Stream or the X webcam app for that in OBS as well. Then I can have multicam. I'm so sad about the music, y'all. Let's try it again. Here we go. Here we go. Multi-output device. Yeah, and then iTunes is just like, nope. Not doing it anymore. Weird. Weird. The XT2 got also new firmware update for the 50, yes. And they fixed some other stuff. The 3 just, it got pretty beastie. A pretty beastie upgrade, though. What about Spotify? You know, I actually don't use Spotify. I never got into it. Legit, I just said, wow, this is the first time without music. Yeah. I'm the type of person who loves music. Like, I'm always listening to music. Like, I have music on 24/7. No joke. Like, literally just music all the time. What's your advice on indoor low light photography? So first off, my biggest thing, and I don't know why everyone loves to backlight everything all the time. I personally don't like it, especially when you're indoors using natural light and you're in low light. Like, don't backlight stuff. You're like shooting yourself in the foot doing that, because basically, when someone's backlit, then they're in shadow. So like you're literally making them darker. So you only have two options. You either expose for them and blow out everything in the back, or you expose for being able to get the back, and then they're in shadow, and then now you're like in Lightroom trying to fix it and do all kinds of craziness. So I generally always front light my people, or side light, or something where the light is coming towards them rather than putting it behind them. That's probably the biggest tip I could say for low light indoor photography. Because like literally, actually, I have a video that I'm hoping to drop in a day or two. Let me see if I can find some photos for this wedding. Uh-oh. Where's my finder? Yo, my whole computer hates me right now. There it goes. Okay, so last year's weddings. All right. So this wedding, it like totally thunderstormed, right? I'm talking like tornado thunderstorm. Their whole wedding was like, it like rained. So it was like dark. Let me see if I can see the settings of these pictures. And this isn't even when it was as dark as it got, but it was pretty dark even at this point. So my shutter speed was at 160. My ISO was at 800. I was shooting with the 23 f2. I was obviously wide open. So already it was pretty dark. If I'm up at ISO 800, it's pretty dark. But you see how I have the light going? So there's a big like sliding glass window door thing here that has like frosted glass. So I'm putting her in a place where she's as close as I can get her to the light source, and I'm working with that light. Again, not behind her. And actually, I had a hard time at this wedding because the videographer kept wanting to backlight her, and I was just like, it's mad dark, bro. I cannot do this. So this is after post. I don't have the raw easily accessible, but like I can't explain. It's dark. It is so dark. But again, put your subjects in a way where like you have this side light. Yeah, so you see the frosted glass window. And so it got even worse by the time we started doing couple portraits. It was like even darker. I think at this point my ISO was like 1600 or something. Because the clouds started rolling in. It was dark. Yeah. So for this, my ISO was 1600. And I don't like to be up at that point at all. Like, I just don't. Once I get like around 1,000, I'm like, So you can make it work and the photos aren't like mush, but I don't like getting that high. But again, so the worst part here, so groom is backlit, and you see like his face is already like just getting lost kind of. This worked for the photo and I didn't mind it. But again, you don't want to do that, especially when you're working in low light. You know, she was working out because she's in light. And that's the thing to remember too with ISO. And it's like, oh, you know, could it be like the photos are totally like muddy and stuff when your ISO is super high? But if you have people in good light, you won't get all that grain and stuff because your sensor is just like, oh, cool, light. I'm editing a wedding right now, and I had to use ISO 4008. Ooh. Yeah, I don't like going high. Do you usually keep your ISO on auto? I do not. Never, ever, never, ever, never, ever. So I shoot full manual, not autofocus manual, but full manual as far as my settings. And I'm gonna make a video on it later, and I'm about to sign off. But before I do, I'm gonna share with you all how I approach getting exposure in a room, especially when I'm using natural light and it's indoors. So basically, what I do is I walk into a room, right? And I look at the light. It's actually fairly dark in my room right now. It only looks like that because my ISO, my shutter's low and whatever. But basically, what I do is I walk into the room, and the first thing in the exposure triangle that I usually like to set is my ISO. So my ISO for me is always like the base and the foundation. I don't want to change it. I don't want it to change. I want to be able to set it and be like, cool, this is my ISO and that's what it is. So walk into a room, notice how dark it is. And then from there, I choose what I think the ISO should be. So I'll be like, oh, cool. You know, it's a little bit darker like in that other wedding I was showing you. So I'll be like, cool, let's put it at 800. So there's my base. ISO set, I don't touch it until I move into a different lighting situation. Then after that, the next two things to think about in your exposure triangle is your f-stop and your shutter speed. Now, f-stop, I tend to just shoot wide open all the time, especially on Fuji. So there's no question there. So now I'm at ISO 800 because it's kind of dark. I'm wide open, cool. And then I start adjusting my shutter speed just based on how much light I need. And I try my best not to go under 1/160th. Because at that point, it's harder and you're going to get like blur from people moving. But it's always like that. ISO first. And then are you wide open or not? Cool. And then shutter speed. And that's how I deal with like low light. So it's the same difference. Like I can kind of show y'all on this. You won't really be able to see it, but I'm going to do it anyway. How you clean the noises. XT series cams cannot clean the noises good enough. The biggest thing is how you sharpen, because the sharpening on the stuff is weird. Oh yeah, y'all aren't going to be able to see that. You'll have to wait for the actual video. I'm thinking about doing a series of videos of just like beginner photography stuff too. So what about noise when you have high ISO? A lot of times you can fix that in post. Actually, at the end of this wedding, this is all high ISO stuff. So yeah, I was at ISO 800. I had this little light on my camera. I'm trying to get a Lume Cube because this thing is huge. But I had this on top of the camera, lighting them, but I had it low. You don't have it that bright because with sparkler exits, like, oh, great job. Y'all can't even see it. Okay, so now that you can see it, this is ISO 800. I had the 50 f1. Obviously, I was open all the way at f1 because this is like nighttime at this point. I had this little thing on my camera providing a little bit of light on the couple, but you don't want this too bright because it's going to kill the mood of the sparklers. I don't know if y'all can tell, but these are the small sparklers too. These are the worst to work with. Like the absolute, they're literally like this big. They're like 2 inches maybe. Like, yeah, let's do a sparkler exit with 2-inch long sparklers that go out in like 5 seconds. But yeah, so basically with this, again, it's the same thing. It's like near pitch black at this point because actually is the time on this. Yeah, so this is 7:22 p.m. in October. So it's dark. So the sparklers are providing most of the light. There's a house behind them, which has the porch lights on. So that's also providing light. And then I have this little thing lighting them up on the front a little bit. On top of being at ISO 800, mainly to let in as much light as possible, I have the 50 f1 at f1, which is, you know, letting in all the light. So you can kind of see the before and after. Like, it's dark, you know, like. is it possible to do sparkler exits without bringing in extra light? It is. You just do natural light, but I found that having a little extra splash of light helps. But yeah, and then basically what I do is, kick your details up some, and then just noise reduce it. And I mean, it's pretty much no grain in there. It's like barely. Obviously, I can turn this up all the way, but I don't know. I don't mind grain. I don't have an issue with just a little bit of grain. And then at that point, I can export it, and then I would add my own sharpening and grain to it. Anyway, I add grain to my photos, so like I don't mind. Fuji's grain looks nice too. Also, you need to make videos about pricing. I think that will be needed for upcoming photographers. Very true, especially with the recent state of things. I'm late for the party. Hey, John. Hey, what's up? Unfortunately, I'm about to leave. I gotta go eat with my family and things of that sort. But if you noise reduce it, it will look like a soft, exactly. You don't want a noise reduction too much. But I mean, even with my noise reduction way up where it is at like 50, I mean, I don't know. I export it and then sharpen it, and I feel totally fine with it. You're so dope at editing. Thank you so much. I'm still practicing, still learning. So here's the export. Remember, there was no sharpening at all. Then I add my sharpening and grain, and I get my final in it. Also, too, like, I don't know. I have a high ISO version, too. So if there's already grain in my photo, I don't put as much grain in anyway. But I mean, unless you're printing your photos huge, which no one is, I don't know why everyone's so concerned about like grain and all. Like, you're not going to see it. You're not going to see it. Your pictures aren't even that big. You know, like you're looking at them on your phone like this big. They're going to look great. You know, like no one's pixel peeping your stuff unless you're submitting it to like a contest or something of that sort, or like a print contest. And then you need to pixel peep. It makes sense. But have I tried Capture One? I have. I don't like it. Mainly because I feel like it's not as fast as Lightroom, but also I don't know it that well, so I can't particularly say that. But anyways, that's about it for me, y'all. Thank you for hanging out on this short moment of a stream while I talked about stuff. And yeah, thanks for hanging out while I went through and edited some of my photos. This is looking pretty good, so I'm going to be able to export this and get this out to the couple ASAP. But again, thanks for hanging out. Thank you for hanging out on the channel. Stick around for more video and more streams. I talked about it before, but I want to start actually scheduling out my live streams at some point. So anyways, thanks again, y'all, and I will catch you next time.